What's going on YouTube? It's your boy johtsu. Today I'm going to be breaking down a solo squad full gameplay similar to how I do in my shorts that you guys really like. This isn't my best gameplay ever. My aim is off at times and honestly I don't even get that many kills, but I just want to practice breaking down a solo squad game for you guys. Let me know if there's any questions you have or any suggestions you have, because this is kind of like a rough draft of the videos to come. Otherwise, just enjoy the gameplay, enjoy the breakdown, learn something new, and peace out.
So we're going to start off the breakdown with my drop spot. I'm dropping at this little base right here, and the reason I'm dropping here is because they have the little shop inside where I can buy shockwaves if I want. You have multiple of these OXR chests, and they have this capture point right here. And if you didn't know, if you emote on the capture point, it captures it at 3 times speed, and this is just a really good spot to get some loot. Now I get my full loadout right here pretty quickly. I usually like to have the Wrecker Revolver, an AR, and at least 2 movement items. If we could find a third, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'll probably carry some heals or whatever else I find in this last OXR chest. But because our loot is already so good, I want to get out of here and go start looking for kills before people get more loot. Now we do end up finding a flare gun in this OXR chest, which I pick up because in solo squads it's pretty good. It'll mark the entire team for you, which makes things easier. And then I'm going to hit the pad to get out of here. I'm always taking pads around the map because it gives you that aerial advantage. You can spot people on the ground and decide where you want to land. I spot this player up here, and I quickly decipher that this is an AI. Now you're going to run into AIs a lot in solo squads. Sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll just fully ignore them and go look for real players, but I recommend taking them out so that they're not a pain in the butt later. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this team wipe because it's a waste of time, and once I finish, we'll pick up where we left off. Okay, so now that we just wiped all those bots, it's very possible that there's teams around us who saw our shots on visual audio, and I'm going to try to make my way to a car ASAP. Because cars are really useful in solo squads. So we're going to go right toward this gas station here, where we know that there's cars parked often. Now that we have the car, we're really looking to get aggressive here. So we're just going to be driving around the map looking for visual audio cues to point us in the direction of teams. But while we're driving around the map, we're going to be smart about our routes that we take. So as you see, I'm going up to the high ground right away. Going on top of mountains or on top of height anywhere is always a good idea because it just gives you more of a vantage point and you can see a lot more from up top than you can down low. As soon as I see the heli, I start putting shots on it because I'm far enough away that I'm not really going to get shot at, and the helis are just a pain in the butt, especially as a solo. That's when I see the visual audio of a player flying on me. And now I'm pretty safe. I'm right next to my car here. So I'm just going to trade shots with this guy. I don't take really any damage at all. So we're just going to get a thirst. And that's just a player down. Now instead of just running over to his loot, notice how I take the car over to it. Just in case I start getting shot at, I can just hop right in the car. Now we're going right back to shooting at the heli, pressuring the player who dropped out of it, staying right next to the car in case something happens. Now from here I see players on the ground and I just blew up the heli. It looks like they might be fighting, so I'm going to start moving up on this. I pre-place a teleport next to a bush in case I get in trouble, and once I see these players in the bubble, I'm just going to use the hammer to knock them both out of it. Now I'm going to right hand peek the bubble, try to put some shots down. Unfortunately, I don't do too much damage, but I do enough where I can push up again. They put down a bubble. And now I do the same play. Unfortunately, I actually almost die here. Luckily, that TP that I put down comes in handy. And I get out. Now I'm in the bush, which is a pretty safe place to be. So I'm not going to panic even though I'm weak. I'm going to hang in here and hit my shots because I have a major advantage on these guys just running at me. We get the knock on one. Other players trying to follow him up and we get a second knock. That player right there is definitely trying to mark me in the bush, so we just finish him right away so he can't give any more comms. Now we're going to move up on this other guy. Notice how I'm using the hammer because I don't know where their teammates are. I see the shots up ahead, but I'm pretty skeptical that there's guys behind me in this OXR base. And now here I'm just trying to gather some information. Once again, I pre-place that right next to the bush so that if I get in trouble, I can just use it. And that's exactly what happens. As soon as I go for the loot, I start getting shot at, and I can just go right back to the bush. Instead of popping my med kit, I'm going to use this opportunity to put some damage on these players who are in the open. But as soon as I see the Jeep, I decide it's better that I just back up, because chances of this guy just running into my bush are pretty high. So once again, I'm headed right back up toward the height where I have a nice vantage point. We still have our car up here, so we're going to use that, and we're going to pop this med kit where we're safe. We got this fizz here, and we spot some bots on the other side of the mountain, so we're going to take them out quickly. Not too worried about moving up for their loot because we have what we need. So as soon as we take them out and get those knocks, we go back to fighting the real players. Once again, I'm going to fast forward through fighting the bots. I don't want to waste your time, and this end game gets pretty spicy, so let's get to that. Once again, we're back in our car. We're taking it down the hill toward this loot because we saw them get revives. We know that they're going to be going for their old loot again. And sure enough, they're all right here. We dropped the ramen to get that triple movement like I mentioned earlier. I do like to have 3 movement items. And that's when I noticed that it's 2 teams. There's a team on my right in the OXR base right there. And then there was the team further away across the water. So we park ourselves where you have an angle on everybody. Unfortunately, this team starts getting aggressive on me right away. I get in my car to create that separation. I try to hop out and get some more damage. I get this guy really weak, and I overextend a bit here for this knock and end up taking even more damage. Now here, instead of just running away with the movement that I have, I get to my car again because it's just safe. It's natural cover that I have as I'm running. Now I'm thinking about where I can go for some heals. I see the visual audio, so I know those 2 teams are fighting now. I'm thinking about slurp trucks. I see these barrels here, and I've run into the barrels for the health. Now, instead of continuing to go look for more health, I know the teams are fighting, and I want to be able to third party. So I'm going to park my car under this ridge here where it's safe, and I'm going to move up on this. I pre-place a teleport right next to the car in case I get in trouble. And now here, I'm going to start moving up. At this point, I'm just looking for anybody who's out of position, maybe a player who's weak or something. But these players don't really give me much, so I just stay by this rock where I'm safe, and I just am very patient. Normally, I'd be playing a lot more up in their face, but because I'm so weak, I just need to remain patient until they give me a safe play. That's when I noticed this team over here that I was fighting earlier, and I decided to start moving up on them. Once again, I'm pre-placing that teleport. I think I might have been getting too far away from the first one that I threw, so just to be safe, I place another one. And now I'm going to use this rock right here. Notice how I'm keeping the rock in between me and the other players that I saw, only isolating this one player. Once I get my finish, I use that teleport and I back up. If I was more healthy, I probably would have hung in at the rock there and went to trade some more damage with them. But I'm so weak right now, it's just not really worth it. And here, I'm just going to hold a right-hand peek at this tree. Once again, placing that teleport. If I get in trouble, I see them moving toward me here, I'll be able to back up under the ridge where they don't have an angle. Once again here, I'm being very patient with my shot selection. They don't know where I am, so I wait until this player's in the wide open to get me that free knock. I see the teammates start running, and now I know the last guy is back there, probably sticking a reboot, which is exactly what he's doing. So I move up on this player and try to see what kind of loot he has. He has a med kit, so I drop my hammer, pop the med kit really quickly. I know I have a few moments. And then I grab the hammer again and start moving toward the safe zone.
These guys are just the best buds, man. Just keep on resing each other.
And where are we going when we get back to the safe zone? Right back to the car that we had parked earlier. At this point, I'm going to go get healthy. It's been a while that I haven't had shields. So instead of trying to fight again, I'm just going to go get my heals up. I'm going to fast forward through this until I get my shields up. As soon as I get my health up, we see a team get a reboot here. We know one player just got rebooted right there. And we know a second player just came up as well. And with that information, we know that this isn't the same team that I was just fighting, because the team I was just fighting only had one player left to be rebooted, And they just got 2. So now we're pretty sure there's 2 teams over there. So we're going to back up and wait to see if this fight develops. We start seeing some shots on visual audio. So we get curious and we're going to start moving up to see if these 2 teams are fighting. We're not really seeing any shots. There's nothing going on. So I'm just going to start rotating and getting ahead, getting off this edge. As we're moving in, we see the bugs. We also notice a little gold pump right there. But we're going to use the bug to go ahead, and we're going to get on high
That
ground.
would be worth carrying.
I do second guess myself a little bit and think maybe I want to go back and grab that gold pump. So that's why you see me hesitate right here. I turn around. But I change my mind, and I just go up to height. Notice how I'm just keeping an eye on that left side where those teams were fighting. I'm just looking for somebody. I don't see anybody as I'm scanning here. But I do see a car, so I go for the car because it's a lot safer than the bug. Now here we see the shots, so we cut the engine so they don't see the car pulling up on visual audio. But this random player on the right is shooting at me. I try to put a couple shots on him, but I know I'm in trouble. So I just get back in the car and I try to reposition myself. The car's taking a lot of damage, so I hop out behind this rock here. And now I'm going to throw a TP and just get out of here. Before I do, I'm looking for a couple more shots because I'm not getting shot at. I know I'm safe from where I'm at. But then once that third party starts coming in, I decide to get out. Now, once again, I'm looking for heals. I want to get some health up because I know there's a lot of guys here. And I see that that capture point has been taken. And I know there's always heals on these. So I'm going to run toward that real quick and get some heals. This is the downside to playing with triple movement is when you do get weak, you always have to run and find heals. But I think the upsides are way more worth it. Now we need to get some eyes on that fight ASAP, and instead of using the hammer to go up the hill, I'm using the mask because it's silent. I don't want people turning around hearing me hammering up the hill. Now I see the players on that ridge there, so I throw my teleport closer toward them so after I beam them, I can teleport closer instantly. Unfortunately, they teleport out and I kind of lost them, but I do find a player who's whited down here in the open. So I move up toward the edge and I get this pick. Now, just in case he starts calming where I'm at, I use my teleport right away to reposition. Now players don't know where I'm at, and I move up on his loot. Not really anything that I need again, and there's players everywhere, so I just keep it pushing. This time, I'm using the hammers. I get to this car. I know the car is really weak, so I can't stay in it for long. And I'm headed right back up to that height that I've been talking about. Unfortunately, there's a team here, and I know I can't stay in this car. It's extremely weak, so I just ditch the car right away, and I use my hammer to reposition. We hit a couple chests up here. I'm not sure what I was looking for with this loot, honestly. I don't really need much. Maybe just some better color weapons. But we spot these guys up top. I beam this guy on his way down. I try to go for a couple more shots, but I know his teammate's going to trade on me, so I just get aggressive and get this finish right away. As soon as I get the knock, I get the thirst, and I just get out right back to where I was before. At first, I'm underneath the truck. I really don't like being underneath it, so I pop out to the side here, and I teleport on top where I feel safer. Now I have multiple players under me, but I'm just playing very fundamental on top here, just only using these right hands. And when I see the players in the bubble, I try to drop down and hammer them both out. For some reason, they don't go anywhere, which kind of ruins the whole play. And now I just decide to start getting ahead of zone. Here I make a nice little play where I throw my teleport across, knowing those guys are going to see it down low, just to create some confusion as to where I'm at. But then I make a bad play as I go in here, I throw my teleport ahead, and I try to get some shots on this guy that were just unnecessary. Almost gets me killed. But I did get safe with my teleport. And now I need to find health once again. We see one of these capture points. We know there's going to be some health on the capture point. So we do want to make our way toward that. But before we do, we're going to place a teleport down. And now as I move up here, I see this player with his back to me. He's going to see my visual if I don't shoot him first. Unfortunately, I got a knock on somebody in the zone, and it really confused me there. I thought I knocked the Ninja Turtle, but I did not. It was another player. So I teleport and I start getting aggressive on this guy. I see he's going toward the car. I know he's going to get in it. Unfortunately, I'm unable to capitalize, but I do get in his car because at least I'm safe and can't be shot. I see he's probably going to ditch the car here, which is exactly what he does. So I just ride it into the zone for a second. I try switching seats. It was not working. I start raging a little bit. But once I'm in the driver's seat, I'm going back toward that loot from before. I really want to see if there's some heals up there. So now we're back to the capture point and we see this bubble. I know the bubble gives shields, so we throw the bubble down. We pick up these big pots here, and now there's more footsteps and the guys behind me. I know there's a bunch of people on the edge of zone here, so we just need to spam our movement and get ahead. We're also marked, so we need to be very smart and make sure we're behind rocks as we're popping stuff. Notice how I'm throwing rocks and everything in between me. Now here, I throw another teleport. I notice I'm being chased, so I throw a teleport to make that guy think I'm going to use it. And that's exactly what happens. He ends up scanning where I threw the teleport and just giving me free shots. Now I see I got shot in the back right there, and there's a bunch of guys rotating in front of me. So we're officially surrounded on both sides. We need to get somewhere where there's cover from both sides, and this bamboo spot is perfect. I spot these guys behind the trees. I try to put some fire on them, but with my cover burning, I need to reposition slightly. I get behind these statues, and now I'm trying to make sure I'm safe from both sides before I pop this 50 pot. I know I cannot stay here because I've been spotted by everybody. I quickly check these chests to see if I could get maybe some bunkers or something. And now I'm just going to get out. I choose to go this direction because this is the only place that we haven't seen players. Even though it's not toward the safe zone, I just wanted to get myself out of the middle. After seeing that little visual audio, I know that the teams are fighting as well. So I'm just going to stay on the outskirts here and look for this third party. I have this player extremely weak, so I move up, get that knock. And now I still see visual audio, so I know that the last players are fighting. I really need to get in there for this third party. I throw a teleport ahead toward the safe zone, so after I get a knock, I can go. I get this player really weak. Unfortunately, I don't get the knock. But with patience, I wait, choose the player in storm, get that knock, and I teleport right away. Change that position so they're unaware. Now we know there's only 2 players left, and they're both right here, very weak from their last fight. And that's GG.
GG's, baby. GG's, baby. Let's go!